Chapter 12. The Art of Kunai Throwing. As he entered the building, Kaizen took a moment to scan his surroundings. Tatami mats covered the floor, providing a firm yet forgiving surface for training. Along the walls, various training equipment was neatly arranged: wooden dummies for striking practice, racks of kunai and shuriken, and several targets for ranged weapons training. Large windows allowed natural light to pour in, creating an inviting atmosphere despite the rigorous activities that took place within. The students inside immediately fell into hushed whispers upon seeing the bloodstains on his clothes, remnants of the earlier confrontation with the upperclassmen. Concern and curiosity spread quickly among his peers, and the air filled with murmurs. "Is that blood on Kaizen?" one student whispered. "What happened to him?" another asked, their voice tinged with worry. "Did he get into a fight?" Kaizen felt the weight of their stares but maintained his composure, walking steadily to his spot in the dojo. The room buzzed with speculation as more students noticed the bloodstains. "Do you think he got hurt?" Eiko whispered to Shiro, her brow furrowed with concern. Shiro shook his head, his eyes never leaving Kaizen. "I don't know. He looks okay, but that's definitely blood." Ryu leaned in closer to the group, his voice low and conspiratorial. "Maybe he was attacked by some older students. They've been known to pick on the first years sometimes." "Yeah, but he doesn't look like he's in pain or anything," Suki added, her gaze fixed on Kaizen. "He actually looks kind of calm." Kakashi, who had been quietly observing, finally spoke up. "He probably handled it," he said, his tone confident. "Kaizen's not someone to mess with, even if he is a first year." The other students exchanged uneasy glances, their curiosity mixed with a newfound respect for Kaizen. The whispers grew louder, and soon the entire dojo was abuzz with talk of what might have happened. Before the speculations could escalate, Hiroshi-sensei entered the dojo, his presence commanding immediate attention. "Quiet down, everyone," he said firmly. The room fell silent when the students heard their sensei speak. "I understand you have questions about Kaizen's appearance. Earlier, he was attacked by some older students." Kaizen defended himself, and the situation has been handled. "Kaizen, there should be several sets of training clothes of various sizes in that room down the hall. You can throw what you're wearing away in there and get changed into one of the sets. Come back quickly so we can get started." Relieved by Hiroshi's explanation, the students shifted their attention back to the session ahead. Quickly getting up and leaving to change out of his blood-stained clothes, Kaizen then returned to his spot in the dojo. Seeing this, Hiroshi-sensei walked to the center of the dojo, his gaze sweeping over the group. "This afternoon we will focus on learning some basic ninja techniques. These skills are fundamental to your growth as shinobi. We will start with kunai throwing, move on to shuriken throwing, and then finish with chakra control." Hiroshi picked up a kunai from a nearby rack and held it up for everyone to see. Kunai throwing is not just about strength, it's about precision, speed, and control. Watch closely. He demonstrated the proper grip and stance, then with a swift, fluid motion he threw the kunai. It flew straight and true, embedding itself perfectly in the center of a distant target. "Behind the targets, we've set up a sturdy backstop," Hiroshi continued, pointing to the heavy wooden panels behind the targets. "This will ensure that if you miss, the kunai won't damage the dojo. So focus on your technique without worrying about your aim at first." He gestured towards the targets set up at the far end of the dojo. "Now, it's your turn," he said. The students lined up, each taking a handful of kunai. Kaizen watched Hiroshi's demonstration intently, analyzing the technique and mentally noting the key points. The first student to step up was a tall boy named Hiroto. He took a deep breath and tried to mimic Hiroshi's stance, but his movements were stiff and uncoordinated. As he released the kunai, it veered off course and hit the backstop with a dull thud. Hiroto's face flushed with embarrassment as he quickly grabbed another kunai and attempted again, with similar results. Next was Suki, her eyes wide with concentration. She managed to throw her kunai closer to the target, but it only grazed the outer edge and fell to the floor without sticking. She sighed in frustration but was met with encouraging nods from her peers. Taro, looking determined, stepped up next. His grip was overly tight and his stance too rigid. The kunai wobbled in the air and missed the target completely, clattering to the ground. Taro frowned and readjusted his grip, but his subsequent throws were inconsistent, with only one barely sticking to the edge of the target. Eiko approached the line, visibly nervous. Her first few attempts were erratic, some hitting the backstop, others missing entirely. Finally, she managed to hit the very edge of the target. But the kunai didn't stick well. Encouraged by the small success, she continued practicing, her throws slowly becoming more controlled but still far from accurate. Then it was Ryu's turn. He took a more aggressive approach, his throws powerful but lacking precision. The kunai hit the target board with force, but didn't stick due to improper angles. Ryu growled in frustration, his impatience evident. Despite his strength, his lack of control was clear, and most of his throws missed the target altogether. Kakashi was the next to step up. He had a calm, focused demeanor, and it was clear he had a natural aptitude for this. His throws were much more consistent than the others, with about 60% of them hitting the target. None of his kunai hit the center, but they were closer than anyone else's so far. He occasionally adjusted his grip and stance, analyzing each throw to improve his accuracy. Even though he wasn't perfect, his skill was evident, and his classmates watched him with a mix of admiration and determination. As Kaizen watched his classmates, he took mental notes of their mistakes and successes. He observed the differences in their grips, stances and throws, understanding what worked and what didn't. When Kaizen stepped up to the line for his turn, he focused on his breathing, calming his mind. Unlike Hiroshi, he held the kunai in his own unique way, a grip developed through methodical practice, testing and research from his previous life. He took his time, feeling the kunai's weight and balance, adjusting his grip to match his current strength and the specific dimensions of the weapon. His stance was his own, constructed from countless hours of meticulous refinement. His feet were slightly wider apart than usual, knees bent at an angle that felt natural to him, distributing his weight perfectly for maximum stability and flexibility. Kaizen paused longer than the other students had, making subtle mental calculations and adjustments. He considered the strength of his current body, the weight and shape of the kunai, and the distance to the target. His intense focus drew the attention of Hiroshi, who was about to speak up to ask why he was taking so long. However, before he could say anything, Hiroshi's eyes widened in surprise as Kaizen moved. In one fluid motion, Kaizen threw the kunai with the accuracy and confidence of someone who had done it thousands of times. The kunai flew straight and true, embedding itself perfectly in the center of the target. The room fell silent for a moment, then erupted in astonished murmurs. "Did you see that?" whispered one student, eyes wide. "How did he do that?" another asked, clearly impressed. Kaizen ignored the reactions and calmly picked up another kunai. His movements were a study in efficiency and grace, each step deliberate and measured. He adjusted his grip slightly, compensating for any minute differences in the kunai's weight. Again, he took a moment to align his body, then released the kunai with a swift, precise throw. The second kunai struck the target dead center, right next to the first. Hiroshi watched in silent amazement as Kaizen continued. His technique was flawless, a perfect blend of biomechanics and innate talent. Each kunai hit the center of the target with unerring accuracy, a testament to Kaizen's skill in his previous life. The other students watched in awe, their initial surprise turning to admiration. Kakashi, who had been the most successful before Kaizen, couldn't hide his amazement. "He's incredible," Kakashi murmured, watching as Kaizen effortlessly hit the bullseye again. Even Hiroshi, who had seen many promising students over the years, was taken aback. "Remarkable," he muttered under his breath. "This boy is truly exceptional." As Kaizen finished his last throw, the dojo was filled with a mix of stunned silence and excited whispers. He turned back to face his classmates and Hiroshi, his expression breaking into a warm, friendly smile. Seeing the awe on their faces, he decided to lighten the mood. "Guess all that time playing darts really paid off," Kaizen joked, his tone light and cheerful. "But seriously, if I can do it, everyone else can too. It's all about practice and finding what works best for you." The tension in the room eased as his classmates chuckled, their admiration turning into encouragement. Shiro grinned. "Yeah, maybe I'll start playing darts too." Eiko laughed, her previous intimidation fading. "You make it look so easy, Kaizen. I hope I can get there someday." Kaizen nodded, his smile reassuring. "You will, Eiko. Just keep practicing and stay focused. We're all in this together, right?" Kakashi, who had been the most successful before Kaizen, gave him an approving nod. "Thanks for the tip, Kaizen. Let's all keep pushing each other to get better." Kakashi secretly resolved to ask his father to buy a dartboard after he went home that day. Even Hiroshi, who had seen many promising students over the years, was impressed. "Excellent work, Kaizen," he said, his voice filled with genuine praise. "Your skill and precision are extraordinary. You've set a new standard for this exercise." Kaizen nodded humbly, accepting the praise but not letting it affect his focus. "Thanks, Sensei. But remember, everyone, it's not about being perfect right away. We're here to learn and improve together." Hiroshi-sensei observed the scene, his mind processing the unexpected turn of events. He understood why Kaizen had chosen to lighten the mood. It was a strategic move, designed to diffuse any potential jealousy or intimidation his impressive display might have caused. This showed not only skill but also a maturity and understanding of group dynamics well beyond his years. Hiroshi was becoming even more impressed by Kaizen's maturity and leadership qualities. Kaizen's Shiro called out, still struggling with his throws, "Can you show me again how you're holding the kunai?" "Sure thing," Kaizen replied, moving to Shiro's side. He gently adjusted Shiro's grip, making small corrections. "Try to keep your grip firm but relaxed. Your stance needs to be stable, like this." He observed Shiro's build and adjusted his stance to better suit his height and arm length. "Now, when you throw, use your whole arm and keep your wrist steady." Shiro followed Kaizen's instructions and threw the kunai. It hit closer to the target's center than before, and Shiro's face lit up with excitement. "Wow, that really helped." "Thanks, Kaizen." "No problem," Shiro Kaizen said, clapping him on the shoulder. "Just keep practicing and you'll get even better." Eiko approached next, her face showing a mix of determination and frustration. "Kaizen, my throws keep going off to the side. What am I doing wrong?" Kaizen watched her throw a few kunai and quickly identified the issue. "You're twisting your wrist too much at the release. Try to keep it straight and let the kunai fly naturally." He observed her stature and suggested a slightly different stance, more balanced for her center of gravity. "This stance might feel a bit different, but give it a try." Eiko nodded, taking a deep breath before trying again. This time her kunai flew straighter, hitting the target. "I did it," she exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. "Great job," Eiko Kaizen encouraged. "Just keep practicing that motion." Kakashi, who had been watching quietly, walked over. "Your advice really works, Kaizen. Mind if I join in?" "Of course," Kakashi Kaizen said with a grin. "Let's help everyone improve together." Kaizen moved around the dojo, offering tips and encouragement to his classmates. Instead of enforcing a one-size-fits-all approach, he took the time to observe each student, helping them find their own stance and way of gripping the kunai based on their individual builds and natural tendencies. His outgoing demeanor and helpful nature made it easy for others to approach him, and soon the entire class was buzzing with newfound enthusiasm. Even those who had been struggling started to see small but significant improvements in their technique and accuracy. Hiroshi observed the scene from the sidelines, a sense of profound gratitude swelling within him. Teaching two exceptionally talented students like Kakashi and Kaizen was a rare privilege, and he felt fortunate to be part of their journey. Watching Kaizen move among his peers, offering personalized advice and encouragement, Hiroshi saw not just skill but a remarkable capacity for leadership and empathy. Kaizen's ability to connect with his classmates, to help them find their own strengths, was something Hiroshi had never seen in someone so young. It was clear that Kaizen possessed an innate understanding of people, an ability to inspire and guide that set him apart. His humility and willingness to assist his peers without arrogance could help make him an exemplary student and a potential future leader. Kakashi, too, showed extraordinary promise. His skills and natural talent were evident in every exercise. The potential within his class was nothing short of extraordinary. He had known that nurturing young talents like these would be pivotal for the future of the Hidden Leaf Village. Yet seeing it unfold before his eyes filled him with a profound sense of purpose and validation.